Hello all, welcome to Monday Night Live 39. I hope everyone's with me now. Taylor, if you can just let me know that everyone's there. Hello all, we just had the internet drop out right as we went live, so yes, great to have you all here. Warren's here. Congratulations to Warren too with his 10,000. We had a winner. Warren drew the winner out through the week, a little video there. Clint Reed 75, so that's an awesome result. So well done, Warren. Heaps of people here. But welcome to Monday Night Live 39. We're going to talk a little bit of safety tonight. I know it seems like a bit of a boring subject, but you never know when a little bit of safety can come in handy. Tonight's prizes, we've actually got 3 first aid kits tonight. Just good little bush first aid kits, good to stick in the car. They're not huge, but they're just a good size first aid kit. So to win those, you just need to share this post, and in about an hour's time, we'll draw we'll get the randomizer. We'll pick 3 people. But there's a good amount of gear in them, sort of thing. So they're good little first aid kits. So that's what's happening tonight. We've got a few news stories, of course. A few big finds over the last couple of days. But for those who don't know, I'm Ben from Gold Diggers, and we do this every Monday night. We pick a subject, and we rabbit on about it for a little while. And I've got a little shop here in Brisbane, and if anyone needs to contact me, there's the phone number right there. So let me just get rid of that, and we can crack right on with it. So yeah, a big congratulations to Warren from NQ Explorers, because that's a phenomenal effort to get to 10,000. So well done, mate. Very pleased for you. We might just go straight over to these blokes here. Well, I don't know exactly when it is, but these 2 little specimen came out of the ground in the last little while. So WA, a mine over in WA, which is actually being sold. You can actually buy this mine. One 60 kilo specimen and one 90 kilo specimen came out of the ground. 500, about 500 metres deep, so a long way down. It was all done through blasting, but they could be some of the biggest specimens around. Well, they will be some of the biggest specimens around. These guys have pulled out about $15 million worth of gold in about 4 days, and beautiful looking gold. So the 60 kilo piece, the small bit over there, I think it had about 1,600 ounces of gold in it, about $2.6 million, about $2.6 million just in gold value. And the 90 kilo one, this one here, had about 2,300 ounces in it. So they're big nuggets. And that's about 3.8 million. I did the math on it. So yeah, that's a lot of gold. So, and the miner who did the, who was first down there, said he wet the ground, because they wet the dust down so the dust doesn't get into your lungs. So they wet the dust down, and he said the whole floor was just covered in gold. So it would have been an amazing thing to see. And as far as I know, they haven't done the second blasting yet. So yeah, phenomenal thing. And then this just came out in the last few days. The 5th century Roman coins found in the basement of an old theatre that they're pulling down. It was a picture theatre at one stage, as well as an old-fashioned theatre. It'd always been a theatre, but in an urn, big stack of gold coins. So 5th century Roman. So there'll be some value there as well. So some just amazing finds. Let me just, I've neglected to put them up there. Those these gold coins in the urn, stone urn. So just, you know, some amazing finds. Those 5th century gold coins would be worth a packet, I would suspect. So yes, Gem Q makes a good point. That 15 million in 4 days would pay the diesel bill, I'd reckon. So yes, so just some amazing finds coming out of the ground. Yeah, it's just it's amazing when you do hear some of these finds. So Denise is here, Sue's here, Neil, Adrian, g'day guys, great to see you here. Ray's here. We've noticed we've got a lot of viewers from overseas. We've got Europe, we've got Americans, we've got Canadians. So it's really good to have all you guys here with me. Now, one little bit of housekeeping. I've been quite sick, so I've got my bit of strepsils here, so if my voice starts to go, you'll have to forgive me. It's been I've had the flu for 2 weeks straight now, it seems. So but yeah, so forgive me if I am a bit scratchy tonight. We'll do it. We'll get through it and do our best. Righto. So we've got a bit of a plan of attack here tonight. So we're going to run through a few safety things. We're going to talk about the gear, what sort of gear. We're going to do a bit of old school common sense navigation, and then later on we'll get Taylor, or at least Taylor's arm on the shot here, and we'll do a bit of a snake bite wrap on Taylor. So and we'll go through that. We'll go through that with you. So there's a few bits and pieces there. Yeah, we'll get into that. I just wanted to. One of the most important things that I do from a safety point of view, and that everyone should do, is tell someone exactly where you're going, and tell them when you're going to be out of the bush. So, for me, my wife, I have a map of the rough area where I'm going, and I put it on the kitchen bench in the morning, and I'll put 3 X's on it, and my wife knows that's where I'm going to be today. I don't go too much further afield than that. And I also say I will be out of the bush at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, right? And I will ring you before 4 o'clock. So yes, so that's how I handle that, and I think that's probably the most important thing that you can do. If you let someone know where you're going to be, at least they can come looking for you. They got somewhere to start looking for you. So yeah, it's good that everyone's getting stuck into Taylor. Taylor's like a mystery man. You know, he's here in the shop, so you have to come in and see Taylor in the shop. He had a decent beard he had a big long beard until about a month ago, and he disappointed everyone by cutting it off. So, right, so that's the most. I think that's the most important thing. At least someone can come and get your body if you don't, if you fall over in the bush. So, and once you get into the system of it, just as you walk, like I know where I'm going before I go. So, I just have that map. It's a really rough map. It's actually just the fossicking maps of the fossicking areas I go to, and I just put 3 crosses on it. Leave it on the kitchen counter. The missus and I don't even talk about it, really. You know, I'll give her a ring and say, I'll give you a ring at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But I'll write on there 4 o'clock, and I'll put a couple of crosses on it. That's all I do. And she's got it there. If I don't show up at, 4:30, I don't hear from her, she knows that she's got a piece of paper there. She can go, this is where he's going to be. And, yeah. So, it's a great little habit to get into. So, So yeah, so that's how I handle that, and I think that's the most important thing. Then it's about the gear, I suppose. Does anyone else do do something different? Like, if people do something different from what I'm talking about tonight, please let us know, because there might be some ideas that you guys have that I haven't thought of, and vice versa. Oh yes, people are asking about this photo. This is just out at the back of Warwick. This is in the Fosking area there. So that's one of my photos tonight. So right. So when we talk about gear, right, we really want to talk about. We won't talk a whole stack about the electronics tonight. We'll leave a lot of the electronic stuff. We've covered a lot of the electronics with a bit of our mapping nights, but certainly personal locator beacons are phenomenal. Some, of course, the GPSs. Some of those handheld Garmin GPSs are fantastic. Your phone with some mapping data on it. Quite often you'll be out of the problem with a lot of with the phones is you don't get good reception in a lot of these goldfields. It's being quite remote. And the other thing you've got to worry about with all of these electronic devices is batteries, right? So quite often it doesn't hurt to put an extra set of batteries in for your GPS. Certainly, locator beacons don't normally need a lot, but yes, that's the sort of thing. Then UHF radios is another handy thing. A lot of people will leave like people have mentioned here, they're leaving the radio on to the same channel in their car. There's all these apps, Media Alerts and Emergency Plus, and I think the old fella, a mate of mine, bought in another app that he's using the other day. I forget what that was now. Actually, he wrote it down somewhere for me. But there's a stack of this electronic stuff, okay, and that is fantastic, right? Until your battery goes flat, or until it gets wet, or until you drop it and it smashes, right? All that stuff's fantastic until it doesn't work. Then Adrian makes a good point here. I didn't even put it on the list as a sat phone. Like, you can do a lot with a sat phone. So all of that's good. Gear is great as long as it's got batteries and it's got batteries, and what was the other thing? Wet. As long as it's dry and you got batteries, you're sweet. But one thing that you can never, I don't think you can ever be without, is a compass. A compass is such a fantastic thing, because in an emergency situation, right, being able to walk in a straight line is sometimes the best thing you can do. And you can rescue yourself a lot if you're walking straight lines. If you're walking circles, you're not going anywhere. So a compass is phenomenal. Just an old-fashioned compass, you just need to tell what direction. It doesn't need to be anything flash. It doesn't need to have degrees on it or any of that sort of stuff. But a good compass, yeah, and you can't go too far wrong. So a lot of these apps require, like, a lot of people are talking about apps on here. A lot of these people a lot of these apps you need to have reception for a lot of these particularly the mapping apps. You need to have reception. There's very few, like Google Earth's phenomenal for doing your research, but as soon as you go out of reception, you got no mapping at all. So, you know, reception, batteries, water, all that stuff. The GPS, the electronics don't work well. Okay, so don't forget to share, guys. First aid kit. I've got 3 of them to give away tonight. We will also give away a couple of Monday Night Live mugs. So share away, and we will. So you got to share this live stream while it's happening. In about 40 minutes, we're going to draw those. We'll randomly select the comment from someone with a someone who has yes. So we'll pick someone who randomly pick someone who shared the live stream. So, right, okay. So lots and lots of comments here. Yes, lots of people are making lots of points here that some apps do work offline and are designed to work offline. Did I just see something there that Google Maps now has an offline option store maps. Oh, that's interesting, Pat. Pat from Steel Phase is here. That's interesting, Pat. I'll have to have a look at that. We'll have to write that down and have a look at that. So, that's very interesting. So, the one thing that all metal detectorists are not good at, or most aren't good at, and it's because of the nature of what we do, is being situationally aware, what I call situationally aware. We as a hobby walk into the bush, look at the ground, and can look at the ground for an hour, and if we're not careful, without looking up and not seeing any of the surroundings and not knowing if you're going uphill or downhill or so the biggest thing you can be, the biggest advantage, the biggest thing you can work towards, right, as a detectorist is being aware of your situation, aware of what the bush is doing, aware that when you first walked into the bush, right, the sun was on your back in the morning, right? So if you get an hour in there, it's still morning, right? If you walk into the sun, you're going to end up close to where you started. So there's a lot of this situational awareness that needs to be, that I still practice. Sometimes I put my head down and concentrate on my detecting, and all of a sudden you look up and go, hang on a minute, I've been an hour, where am I? So that's one of the big things. If you can be situationally aware, so you can know that with the research you've done, there's a series of gullies that run across the area you're searching, and you know the rough direction of those gullies. All of a sudden, if you come across a gully, you know roughly where you're going, what angle, and you know that you can get out because you know that the directions the gullies run in. You know what's uphill, which direction's uphill, which direction's downhill. You know these things because you've done it in your research, and you've taken note of it when you're when you go into the bush. Spatially aware. Maybe I'm saying the wrong thing. What am I saying? Situationally. Well, situational, spatially. So whatever. We'll get to that. The big thing. Another thing is that I still practice, I'm not very good at, is to look at a 3D, to look at a map, right? And then to transfer what I'm seeing on the map to what I see in the bush around me. What can I find? Where's that gully on this map? Where's that rise? Where's that gully over there? And if you start looking at those sorts of things and adding into that and being aware of your surroundings and where the sun is, where, you know, which direction is the wind's coming from, is the wind blowing in a certain direction, like, you can really, really become virtually bomb-proof, even without your electronics. Even you know, without electronics, you can walk into a lot of areas, and this is pretty much why I put this photo up here tonight. You could take this photo. Let me just. Well, I'll just get me down just to give you a bit of an idea. And this is more for new people more than anything. But you could take that photo in 4 different directions out at Warwick and get basically the same photo. So it's just a matter of keeping you know, it's just being aware of your surroundings, knowing what's going on, and then the last thing I like to do with a bit of navigation is, actually the second last thing, I've got something else for you too. So, is what's your emergency out? If you're going into an area, what's your emergency out? So, if I get into trouble and I get turned around and I pull my compass out, if I walk west, will I hit the highway, or will I hit the fence line, or will I hit the track, or whatever it is? You always got to have a way out. So, for instance, some of these fossicking areas, right, you'll always approach it from a certain direction. You know, you'll only access it from the west. So you know that if you walk out to the east, you're going to come back to that same fence, the same access point. So that's having a way out. You've got to think about the way out. Right, so I've got one other thing. Actually, we'll finish this up before we move on to something else. So a lot of people, and I have this conversation because we've got a camping shop here as well. I have this conversation a lot with people about how to use a compass. So particularly if you're trying to walk west, for instance, or walk a specific direction, people really don't know how to use a compass. If you hold a compass in your hand and go, right, I'm going to walk west, right, and you're just holding it in your hand and you're trying to walk that straight line, you will never do it because there's a tree trunk in the road and you've got to walk around the tree trunk, and then, oh, I can't cross that gully there, I've got to go up the gully a bit, and then I walk west again, and you're always never going to be able to walk a straight line. Okay? So what I tell people to do, the best thing to do is get your compass out, stand in the one spot, say, right, I've got to walk west, or I've got to walk 320 degrees, pull it out and pick a landmark, okay, off in the distance that's 320 degrees, right, or west, whatever direction you want to walk. Pick that landmark, okay, whether it be a giant tree that's got, I don't know, you know, a specific burn mark on it from a bushfire, whatever, right? Then what you do is you put your compass away, put it in your pocket, you walk to that tree. Then you pull your compass out again and take your next bearing to west or 320 degrees. Pick up out another landmark and then put your compass away, walk to that landmark. I know I'm telling a lot of you how to suck eggs here because a lot of you know this, but but I've found people out in the bush who are in a 40-acre area with a road with a track all the way around it, lost. I find people we have people every week walk into the shop and going, I don't know how to use this compass. I've just bought this compass, but I don't know how to use it. They're the ones that are actually coming into me to see it. They're not the ones looking it up on YouTube or just being, thinking, oh, I'll work it out if I need to use it, sort of thing. So that's the most. It's amazing how many people don't know how to walk in a straight line. If you can walk in a straight line, you're halfway there. So, yes. So people are talking about marking tape and spray paint and all this stuff to mark trees and what have you, glow sticks. I'm trying to be a little bit, environmentally friendly, not sort of wanting to leave. And the last thing you want to do is, if you're walking into your 10-ounce patch, is to spray paint the trees as you go along so that everyone can follow the path into your 10-ounce patch. So I'm trying to be a little bit more, a bit more clever with that. So David, talking about navigation at night, you can do, it's much more difficult, much more difficult, but you can use the stars to the same degree as you'd use like the sun or some of those landmarks, but navigating at night is much more difficult, much more difficult. And for the purpose of most gold prospecting, you're not going to be navigating at night. So, yes, so that's, At night time, it makes it hard. I've done a fair bit of, as a kid, I did a lot of orienteering at night, and it's, no fun at all. So, right, okay, so let me just say good day to a few people here. Linda's here, Kurt's here, David, Luke, Bodell, Bonnie, Andrew, Stacks, and Donnie's here. Now, I do want to just jump across here and just let everyone know about the Queensland, the nugget hunt tonight. The nugget hunt is just about full of spots. I think Donnie was just texting me before the thing. I think there's only a few spots left. I think there might only be. I think there's only about 9 spots left. So if you want to come to the greatest weekend metal detecting, there's going to be about $3,000 worth of prizes there. I'll be there. That alone is worthwhile coming. I think Saturday night's a pig on a spit, so that will be a phenomenal thing. So you haven't got long at all before. No, not long at all. We don't have long. It's at the end of the month. It's the 28th of September. But there is not there is not many spots left. So it will be Queensland's signature event. So make sure you get up there if you can, because it'll be heaps and heaps of fun. So yes. Lots and lots of here. Hello, Vanessa. How are you? Good to see you here tonight. So we see you later, Bodell. Bodell's going to shoot through. So have we got any other questions there, Tyler, that I haven't got to?
Take any extra food with you?
So food. People ask a bit of about food. I don't normally. I've always got a good supply of. I've got a good supply of water, because water's pretty important. Food less so, but sometimes I will have a bag of lollies in the in my backpack or something like that. I sort of prepare not to get lost, so I don't tend to carry a lot of extra food. So yes, so yeah. Right, Rodney got the pay dirt, excellent. Like the pay dirt we sent you, Rodney, beautiful. Sorry guys, got a bit of a frog in the throat here. So don't forget to share tonight's prize. For those that don't know, let me just put this up and we'll get all flash here and I'll do a bit of a thingo. If you don't know who I am, I'm Ben from Gold Diggers. Well, this is Monday Night Live. We do this every Monday night and we normally give away a prize. Tonight's prize is 3 first aid kits, just little family first aid kits. We're talking about safety tonight, and we'll also do a couple of Monday Night Live mugs. So just to win these, you've got to share the live stream while it's on. We're going to draw this in about 20 minutes or so. Share this and we'll pick out a winner in about 20 minutes or so and go from there. And what we do is we contact you straight after the show and get your address and we send it out to you basically the next morning. So yeah, make sure you're doing that. Right, so Leanne's here. G'day, Leanne. How you going, Lynn? Right. People have just brought up a few bits and pieces here about some of the insect life. I was going to get to the insect life. Bushman's is phenomenal, and ticks. Ticks. I love ticks. I don't love ticks. They're a pain in the back end. But anyway, so Bushman's, this stuff, if you've got a lot of flies, Nature's Botanical, it works well with flies and other assorted insects. It's not real, I don't think it's real flash for ticks. I've had a tick while wearing it, but yes. So, yes. Yes. So, what are we up to now? Okay, so we've basically covered a lot of the gear. One thing I did want to touch on is gaiters. I'm going to throw those gaiters up to me there, Taylor, and the green ones as well. Got, gaiters, snake protect gaiters. These ones don't show up real well because they're green against the background, but you got to have good gaiters against snake bite. I carry a snake bite kit. Well, I carry a snake bite kit with me. I've got about 3 diggers bags that I carry with me, and some, sorry, excuse me, and some are just my fines bag for the beach. So they are just a Garrett diggers bag, but they will always have a snake bite kit in them. And really simple. I don't muck around too much with, well, you can go and buy snake bite kits. You can go and spend $100 on a snake bite kit. And they are fantastic, and they'll be a bandage very similar to this, but they'll have a square on it. They'll have a, how they work, let me just create one here. A lot of these bandages, so what they'll do, I hope you can see this after I've spent all my effort going to drawing it. So what they'll do, a lot of the flash snake bite kits will actually have little rectangles on it, like that. And the idea of that is you turn them into a square to get the right tension on the bandage. So they're quite clever, those bandages like that. They start out as a rectangle like that, and when you get the right tension, it'll be a square. So they're very good. But you can spend a fortune on those snakebite bandages, and really all you really need is a compression bandage. That's really all you need. Okay, so there's a couple of things people are asking about snakebite gaiters. Those gaiters, the Snake Protects ones are about $140. Those camouflage ones, we're just trying to work out whether we can get those ones. They're about a couple of $100, so they're not cheap. We had some come in today that someone's making. They looked all right. The colours are terrible, but they looked all right. They might be about $100. So there's a couple of options around there, but it's so I tend to always wear. I got a bit of a fright there in the middle of winter on a very, very cold day, very cold day, out in the middle of nowhere. I walked into a gully in a very, very dry, drought-affected area, and there was a puddle of water in the bottom, probably the only water for miles around, and the place was full of snakes. Okay, so I tend to be wearing gaiters much more than what I used to. I wear them in winter. Gum boots work just as well. I don't like wearing gum boots, but plenty of people wear gum boots. That's no problem at all. So I tend to wear a lot of gaiters, and preventative stuff is better than anything. So making a lot of noise, not being really, really quiet is the trick. Now, what happens with a snake bite? 90% of the time you're going to get bitten on your hands or you're going to get bitten on your feet. Okay, so when we talk about snake bites, a lot of people think that a snake will bite you and it goes into your bloodstream. Well, it actually doesn't go into your bloodstream. Well, some of it would go into your bloodstream, but it goes into your lymphatic system. Now, your lymphatic system is like your muscles just under your skin. So, and I'm no expert on this, but I've done a lot of research because I've spent a lot of time out in the bush, so I want to know that I'm right. So you need to do your own research and not take me for gospel. But your lymphatic system works underneath the skin, and the reason we keep the arm still or the appendage still is because the more movement, the more it pumps that lymphatic system. So that's why we keep it still. That's why the advice is against tourniquets, because that cuts the blood system, the blood off to your arm, and basically starts to kill your arm. So yes. Now, really, the times you're going to get bitten by a snake is they're going to be defending themselves. I was actually walking along a fairly heavy bush track. It was a concrete track. It was through a park by a river, onto the on my way to the pub actually one night, and felt what I thought was I thought it was a bit of wire tangled around my feet. I looked down, and sure enough, I had about a 2.5 foot brown snake. I'd obviously stood on him, and he'd swung up and hit me on the. Luckily, I had jeans on. He was only a very, very thin snake, very tiny snake, but he's got his fangs tangled in my jeans. So I've got this bloody angry 2'6", about this long, brown snake, tangled in my jeans, and I'm doing the bloody the river dance on the side of the river, trying to get rid of this snake off my legs. But anyway, that's another story. So so they are around. I just about walked onto that red-bellied black the other day out at Warwick there. On that freezing cold day, I just about walked on top of him, and there was about 4 or 5 snakes in that gully. It was unbelievable. Your snakes, Steve just makes a point, some of the tiger snakes, some of the big taipans, the mulga snakes up in the west, northwest will come at you, but they're probably defending a bit of area, or they've got, eggs or something like that. Something's going on there, but yes. So most people are bitten trying to kill the snake, right? Or they've stood on the snake, or they're trying to mess with it. The snakes normally just want to get out of the road. So that's what's going on there. So, right. So what we might do is we might get Taylor up here now. So Taylor, just come a little bit closer. So that'll do you, right? So let's say Taylor's got bitten on the arm just here. Okay. So what I would normally do is I actually put I had one of these open here a minute ago, and there's conflicting reports on it, but I would normally put a bandage, wound pad on there. So, but just to start with, I might just stand up here. Just straighten your fingers out for me, please. So we'll just get one, just thumb out. So the biggest thing, right, is you see how I've started this here. I've left Taylor's fingers out because I want this bandage fairly firm, but I don't want to cut the blood flow off. So I need to, this may have to be wrapped for 8 hours. If it's going to take me 8 hours to get to get Taylor to help, I need to be checking to make sure that blood flow is not right. So so then you just start wrapping it fairly firmly. You don't want to be cutting the blood flow off, right? So here we go. We've come up to where the bite is. We put a pad on it just so the bandage doesn't stick to it there, but we keep it nice and firm, and we wrap it all the way up to the top, keeping it nice and firm, all the way up. So while we've got Taylor here, and we wrap it all the way to the shoulder, as far up as we possibly can go. Okay, so while Taylor's right there, I'll just tuck that in there. Just hold that there for a minute, Taylor. Let me just get a. Here's a. We weren't really that well prepared. Here's a bit of stick as a splint, and so we've come to the top, right? We're just going to wrap this around here. Okay. Now, you still want to be able to. Just hold on to that again, Tom. You still want to be able to get a finger quite comfortably under that bandage. You don't want it so tight that it's cutting that circulation off Taylor. But we will wrap that splint up so he can't move that arm, and we will just tie it off down the bottom here. The splint part doesn't have to be tight. So basically, just like that, we'll tuck that in here just to. There we go. Now, that arm there could stay like that, and Taylor can't bend that at all. There's not a lot of movement in there. I can still check on his fingers to make sure he's not cutting off circulation. And then what we'll do is we know exactly where that snake bite. We know exactly where that snake bite is, right? So to help the people who will do first aid afterwards, we'll put a mark on the bandage to show exactly exactly where the bite is. So what happens is when we go to hospital, the people at the hospital don't have to take that entire bandage off to find the snake bite or to test what sort of snake bite it was, right? You can cut that open there and leave the whole thing wrapped. So that's fine. Thanks, Tom. So that's how we would. That's how I would do it. So now other people, like one thing I did a bit of research today on it, and let me tell you, you can look at 20 different sites, Australian sites, and they all do it slightly differently. So Trevor wants to get a real snake. No, Taylor's not that keen, Trevor. So yeah, but you want to keep your arm straight, you want to keep it immobile, and then if Taylor was in the bush, I would want to get the vehicle to Taylor, right? I would want to stay there, and I would want to pull my personal locator beacon, right? Or I would want to get help, but I would not move Taylor, right? Unless it's straight up into a car and that's it. You would not even need to bother. You wouldn't want him to move 3 feet. You would want the car right next to him. Lots of times in the past, Taylor would get bitten. I'd have to go and look for the snake. I'd get bitten. Okay, so nowadays you do not need to identify the snake. Okay, if the snake's sitting there, if the snake's sitting there, sure, take a photo of it. But you need to keep yourself safe and well away from the snake. Okay, so that's the so you do not need to identify the snake. They can just cut that open where that bite was. They'll cut that bandage open and do the snake bite test, and they'll tell what sort of anti-venom they need. So right, so now that all seemed pretty easy, pretty calm, no big dramas. You try doing that with a bit of adrenaline running, out in the middle of nowhere. How am I going to get help? There's a lot going on when this is happening. So it's good to have a bit of a practice run and see what the go is there. So, right, okay, so yeah, people want to put you up the roof racks. Yeah, but we'll see about that. Right, so we've got about 5 minutes before we do this draw. So I'll do my little spiel again. I'm Ben from Gold Diggers. We do this every Monday night. If you've got any questions, that is my phone number down there. You can give me a ring through the week. I won't answer it tonight. I know someone's been texting me here, but I won't answer it while I'm on the show. We do this Monday night live every Monday night. And so you've got to share this. You've got about 5 minutes left to share this. And we'll do a random selection from someone who's shared. We've got 3 of these first aid kits to go out tomorrow. So Bonnie and Shane are here, Danny's here, Meg. Yes, so so everyone's here. It's good to see. Yes. So a few things, like when you've got someone, I've just noticed a few comments. Like I've double checked. I double check every sort of 6 or 12 months because I have people coming in the shop going, "How do I do a snake bite thing?" So I try to get up with the latest information about how to do the first aid of the snake bites. That's the latest information I have. You guys may have more up-to-date information than me. You've just got to go and do your own research with it and be comfortable with what first aid you want to do. Don't hold me responsible if you get bitten by a bloody snake and die. You know, don't come back and haunt me. I'm not I'm not worthwhile haunting. So anyway, work that out for yourself. But that's the latest information, and it does change all the time. So, you know, some people talk about if you get bitten here, you put a small bandage here, then you wind up. Some people say you start above the bite and go down and then come back up. Like, anyway, that's the latest information I've had, and that's what I'm doing if I get tagged by a snake. So, yes. Absolutely. People are asking me here if I ever not go to an area because of snakes. No, I don't. I will wear gaiters. I will be pretty noisy. I like coming into October, November. I will not. I'll be really careful. I'll be careful. I'll tend to walk around logs rather than stepping over them. I'll tend to make a bit more noise than usual. That breeding season is the worst. That October, November up here in the, you know, in the dry west, if you like, seems to be the worst. So I won't stop going, but I will get a bit spooked of an area for a little while and not go there. So, yeah. Kyla asked a good question here. Is it still okay to wrap yourself if alone or stay still? Well, Kyla, my thinking with that, and I haven't asked the first aid of that question, my thinking with that though is if you keep this limb still, if you're bitten here, right, you keep that limb as still as you can and you're wrapping, right? If you don't wrap it, you're buggered, right? In a short amount of time, right? So I reckon I'd take the chance on wrapping it up and definitely wrap it up nice and tight. Okay, so that would be my advice. So a couple of little housekeeping things. I will throw it up here again. Queensland Nugget Hunt. You need to get on this quick. This will go really quickly. So I think there's only 9 spots left at the start of the show. There are probably a few gone now. So yeah, definitely get on this. There's a couple of other events coming up. Of course, the Lankuri Gold Bash. It's on the 5th, 6th, 7th of October. So that's a very good long-running. All profits going to Peter Mack, of course. And then the Ararat Token Hunt is a bit later, 20th, 21st of October. So that's another great weekend. So yeah, so please, if you oh, hang on a tick, I've forgotten. I've mucked it up here in my a little bit of thing. I forgot to push the button to push across. There's Lankuri things. Lankuri Gold Bash, that's the 5th, 6th, 7th October. And then we've got the Ararat Gold Dig there on the 20th and 21st of October. So they're all 3 great events to go to. So if you're in any of those areas, the last 2 were in Victoria, make sure you go to one of these events, because these events you learn a lot, you talk to a lot of people. So for instance, at the Queensland Nugget Hunt, this one here, on Saturday night there's going to be a campfire, and around the campfire there's going to be a number of us having a question and answer session around the campfire. So, like, Dustin from Gold Rat's going to be involved in it. I'm going to be involved. There's going to be a few other people involved in it. So there's going to be a lot of people involved there. And I've virtually said to the organisers, I'm not I'm not. I'm basically not detecting the whole weekend. I'm just up there to help out, be around.
Put the link in.
Yeah, Taylor's just put the link up there for the nugget hunt. There it is there. So if you want to go along to that. So like that Saturday night, we're going to try and do the show up there. But if we don't, we'll be sitting around the campfire, and we'll be questions and stories and yeah, we'll be the stories and tales will get longer and longer and longer as the night goes on. There's no doubt about that. But yeah. So anyway, yes, Tricia, I am a bit under the weather, but I will live through it and soldier on. Okay, so what time is it? Oh, it's 8:30. Right. William, like that'll only be a problem on Sunday. So yes. So okay, we better do this. We better get the randomizer going here, and we'll draw these. How many prizes we got? We've got 5 tonight. Okay, so we'll do this. We'll do the first aid kits first. Sorry, it's just taking a little bit of time there to load the randomizer. I don't know why it's so slow tonight. Let me just get it going here. So has anyone got any last questions there? While I'm just getting this might take a couple of minutes just to get this going here. Right, anyone got any questions there? Menthos and Coke. No, it's not Menthos, mate. These are... What are these? Codral. Bloody terrible they are. I haven't even drunk my Coke tonight, so... right, anyway, so... okay, so here we go. Okay, so the winner of one first aid kit is Ron. Ron, where are you from? Ron. Yes, it doesn't come up, but Ron does some. Looks like he does some lost jewellery recovery. So Ron, we've got a first aid kit coming your direction. The next one is Tim. Tim, again, a lot of these places don't come up, but Tim, I'll contact you straight after the show. You've got a first aid kit. Willis, yes, I'm blocked from a lot of people's being a business page. And then, so Willis, I've got a first aid kit from you. I'll contact you straight after the show. And then Paul and Colin, I will contact you guys after the show as well, because you've both won mugs. So congratulations, guys. So, oh, Carmen here. Carmen said I sound like Bob Hawke. Carmen, that's a bit harsh, isn't it? Yes. So, but anyway, right. Okay, guys. Well, thanks very much for your time. We haven't even. I'll post up the link tonight about what we're doing for next week's show. I haven't even looked at it tonight, to be honest. So, but I'll put up the link for next week's show, and we'll go from there. Okay, guys. Thanks very much, guys, and we'll see you next week. And don't forget, if you've got any questions, give us a ring through the week. No worries. Thanks, guys.